Yesterday, we went through, and at the very bottom, if I could have eyes up here, went through and added these links to it. These are external links. So these are links to web pages that are out on the internet that we did not create. In order for us to link to it, we have to include the full long URL. So we had to include http://www and then the URL. The one to Google is a little bit different because it doesn't take you to google.com, it takes you to Google Sites. Because with your Google account, you can actually go ahead and create a Google website. So they're just kind of putting that in there for you to notice that it goes to sites.google.com, not www. Now, a couple people had some problems yesterday, and I troubleshot right at the end of the hour some reasons why some links weren't coming up. If you miss your ending quote until the next quotation mark is, it will kind of like make it look like that text you did not type at all. So always make sure the quotation mark here needs to include the entire URL. If you miss one, it will cause problems. So each one of these, we have a beginning and closing quotation marks to show that this is what we need to link. The other type of link that we did yesterday was to a named spot on the page. Okay, so we went through and we did an ahref, a hyperlinks reference, and then we said equals, quote, pound, and then a word, and then end quotes. And then what we did later on is we actually then named a spot on the page. So this right here, by doing a name, hyperlinks, actually named this spot on the page. And we named that location hyperlinks. So when we look at this page here, when I click on powerful links, it jumps me to that spot. When I click to hyperlinks, it jumps me down to here. It does not go all the way to the top because there's not anything below it to cause the page to go up. But all of these links here will work to an external website. To get back to my page, I would just go ahead and click back. So that's what we have done. Now, what we're going to be doing next is we're actually going to go through and link to files that you have created. Now, I have been telling you all along when you're creating your work to make sure you save it with the correct name, because if you don't, it's going to cause problems. This is where the problems may lie. We should have already 1 through 11 done. We have called all of these files one.html or TWO, and here's my folder. Okay, my folder comes up, and you will notice that they do have Chrome icons because that is my default browser on this computer. I have all of these words spelled correctly. The directions in our book for this next section is going to have us go through and link to all of this work because this is going to be where I'm going to be grading it. We've been doing it in class, but we haven't been going through and I haven't assessed them yet. That is now going to be coming up. Okay? So what will help you is if you go under computer and you open up your folder that has these files, because if you didn't save it correctly, you want it to match what you saved it as. Because if the links don't work, you won't be able to get points for that assignment. Okay? So what we're going to do on 11, I have 11 open, and I'm going to do a file, save as. This may shock you, but I'm going to call it 12. twelve.html. So after what we finished on Friday in class, I'm saving this as 12. I am now back up towards the top of my page, and I have this line of text that I'm highlighting that says hyperlinks to previously created web pages. Well, guess what? That is what we did. That's pages 1 through 11. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to go through and do another ahref, and we're going to do pound previous. You will find what I am doing on page 46. 46 in your textbook. Okay. So what I did is right here highlighted on your screen. When I refresh 12, you can see I have hyperlinks to previously created web pages. If I click on it, though, nothing happens. Why? You got it, exactly. I made the link on the top, but I actually don't have a spot for it to link to. So what I have to do is I have to go all the way down here in the bottom, below this HR, and I'm going to put in an H2. Bless you. And we're going to name this spot previous. And then we're going to put in the title of Hyperlinks to previously created web pages. And you need to end that A, then you need to end that H2. Right before your ending body tag is exactly where it needs to go. Okay? So I typed in this line that I have highlighted, and that again is instruction number 3 on page 46. The next part is where it gets crazy. Okay? We have to go through and put in 11 hyperlinks. So I have to do an ahref. And this is what I want you to do. Eyes up here. I'm really going to take over your screen, so I want everyone looking up here. I have done one line, and you are going to check this one by one so you know that they work. I have named this spot previous. I have an ahref here to 1. I have the word 1 that I'm linking to. I'm going to save it. Go to my browser and hit refresh. Click here on my link to previously created web pages. It jumps me down. Now, I have the link here to 1. If I click on it, what should open? 1. As long as you have the document 12 saved in the same folder that 1 is, this will work. If you don't have it all in the same folder, it won't work. Or if you didn't call 1 the correct name, it won't work. I'll click on it. Look, here's the page that you made. So this is going to be where I'm going to be grading a bunch of your work. So you're going to do 1. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to do a link to 2. And it's going to be very similar, but what's going to change on each one? I need to change this to 2. And I need to change this to 2. Would you agree? And as long as you have saved each one correctly, following the directions, 2 will then work, and you will see the development of all the pages that you've made. You need to do that for 1 through 11. Okay, go ahead and have fun typing in code. Okay. What we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how to turn in web pages to me for the grade. Okay. What I am not going to do, I am not going to go in Haley's account on the network and find her folder and look at her web pages. Just like I'm not going to do that, Caitlin, and I'm not going to do it for Brock, because how much time would it take me to get into each one of your folders to find your work? A long time. Would you expect a teacher to go into your locker to get your homework? No. So I think of your drive on the network kind of like your locker for your stuff, for your electronic files. Typically, you have to turn them into a teacher, right? So I'm going to show you how you're going to turn in these type of electronic files. When it's a Google document, that's easy enough to do because we just share it back and forth. but we're not going to go ahead and upload all these to Google and work on it that way because the links don't work the same. So what we have on the network is we have a folder that we can just submit some files. So right now, if you could please click on Start and Computer. Jared? So when we click on Start and Computer, you will find, if you click on the left-hand side where it says Computer, you will have similar folders as me. You should have your account, and you should have Students Shared, correct? I have a couple extra ones because, well, I'm the teacher. I want you to click on Students Shared. And then in there, you have a bunch of buildings. Which building are we going to go to? Seymour High School. Akia, are you doing this with me? Akia, are you doing this with me? Okay, because I don't see your folder up like ours. Under Seymour High School, you're going to have a series of folders here. You have Activities, Assignments, Submit, Classes, and Student Services. Guess which one we're doing? Assignments, Submit, because this is going to be where you're going to turn in the electronic files. Then we have to go, where? Grasso. Which class are we going to go into? Web design. Now, there's nothing there. Would you agree? Okay. Now, everyone has this spot up. Would you agree? Now, what I want you to do is each one of you, on your own, you have to create a folder. Do you see this little button right here that says New Folder? Now, please name your folder last name, then first name. Why? It puts it alphabetical and it just makes my life easier. Okay? So when you click on New Folder, it's going to open up a folder, and you're going to type in last name, then first name. If you spelled your name wrong, you can hit F2 and fix it. What are you doing, Nakia? No, it's not. Okay, now, here's the thing. It looks like you can see everyone's folder, right? You only have rights to the folder you just created. Even though right now you can see everyone else's folder, you can't see anything in the folder or put anything in anyone else's folder. So, if you went to rename and then you tried to rename somebody else's folder, it won't work because they are the owner of the folder and only they can change it. Did you just hear what I said? So that's not your folder, so you can't rename it.
So I got to create a folder?
You have to, everyone has to create a folder.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to name it. That's just what I said because you weren't listening. Now, what you have to do is you actually have to copy your folder from web design into your folder. Does that make sense? So now we're going to go to My Computer again. So you're going to have multiple ones of these windows open. So here's My Computer again, and I have here the folders with all of our names. And I'm going to go under My Account, and I'm going to find my web design folder. Do you see where it says Web Design Fall 2013? I need to, on the left-hand side here, go in my folder. So you're going to go in your folder. Don't go in Katie Grassel. Go in your own folder. And guess what I'm going to do? Drag this folder, Web Design Fall 2013, under the folder with my name. And then what does it do? It copies everything. So when I open up that folder, guess what's there? Documents 1 through 12 are there. Now, I can go in and I can see that James's files are here. Can you see anything under James's name? Just to prove my point, right? I have rights to all of your folders, so I can see all of your work. Make sense? You can only see your folder. You can see that other people have folders, but you can't see any content or change anything within the folder. So when I tell you to publish things to the network so I can grade it, this is the spot that it goes. And here's my ELT list. That's amazing. Does that make sense? So basically, you just turned into me documents 1 through 12. Now, what happens if we make changes and you need to put more of them in there? What do you need to do? Do I need to, in Notepad, do a file save as and then save it in 2 spots? Or do I just copy that folder over? Copy the folder over and it's going to replace what has been changed? Does that make sense? Okay. Just like when you are turning paper assignments into teachers, you physically have to turn them in. This is our spot on the network that you're turning in your electronic files. You can only do that in the network. You can't do it at home, okay? Because we're just accessing and doing everything using these files. And later on, we're going to have a bunch of files and folders and documents that to go together, so you always need to make sure that you just grab the whole folder and bring it over. Sound good? All right. Jared, you can go ahead and keep going where you're at then. I now then can spend some wonderful time later on this week grading your 1 through 12s, right? Woo! Get you some more points. That's always good. All right, I'm going to close those 2 folders because I don't really need all of that up anymore. We're going to spend some time coloring some fonts. So in Notepad, you should have 12 open. And we are going to create something called a style sheet. Okay. Cascading style sheet, or CSS, are going to be more things. We're going to learn more about it in Chapter 5. Basically, what happens with a CSS is we define our styles in advance between what are called style tags. And those style tags are going to appear up in the very top section of our page. What we have to do is you have to define the CSS default style with using a code that will say style type equals text/CSS. And then we have to make sure that they go between these 2 head tags at the very top of our document. So when we set up our styles right now, it's going to be within our head tag. Okay? The way you define your chosen styles is going to be what would happen on the entire page. The values will appear between curly brackets, which you create by holding down the Shift key and then your bracket. So it's going to be the top part. It's going to be the ones that are a little more curvy than the other ones. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to set our colors for H1 and H2 and our P tag. So what I would like you to do is right after the title tag here on 12, I'm going to put enter in so we have some blank lines. We're going to do a file save as. We're going to call it 13. And then I'm going to put in a line of code that will say style type equals text/CSS, end quotes, and bracket. And then I got to go through and I have to say, what do I want to do? So this first line of code that I put in just says, hey, I am using a style sheet. Style type equals, quote, text/CSS, end quote. Then I'm going to say H1, in curly brackets, color equals red, end curly brackets. H2, curly bracket, color equals, or colon, blue. Sorry, I said equals, and it's supposed to be colon. Then I'm going to do P, which would stand for paragraph, curly brackets, color, colon, green. And then I'm going to end my style. I can save my 13, and then when I open up 13, you should find that all of your text will change colors. Correct? It should look like mine. Why didn't these change colors? Brock, any idea why these didn't change colors? How about Kendall, any idea? This changed color up at the top, my paragraph text did. But why didn't all of this other text change color? Brianna, you want to try? Okay. We made this look like this by using H1. And we told in our style sheet, we said all of our H1 colors should be red. Would you agree? What did we tell H2 to do? Blue. These are all H2s. So the font color is blue. Kind of makes it look like it's a link, doesn't it? Okay. What did we tell our paragraphs to be? Green. This is the only spot on the page that we actually have a paragraph tag. These are created by using BRs, right? Did we define what a BR should look like? No. That is why. So go ahead and change your H2 to a different color. Just try experimenting with a different color that you would like. Hit save and refresh. For example, I just changed my H2 to pink. Was that easier than going through on each one of my H2s and telling it what color it is? Anyone try white, orange, fuchsia, light green, dark green? Now, wouldn't you agree that using your style sheet to change the color of your headings was a lot easier than going through several times on a page and changing the color? That is one of the ways that we're going to go through and be able to do things is by using something like Cascading Style Sheet. Feel free for File 13 to set your H1, H2, and paragraph to any color that you choose. It's up to you. Leave the background to yellow, please, but you can set your H1, H2, and P tag to any color you would like. That is going to end for us Chapter 2's work within there, okay? So I'm going to stop right there.